Today we are going to be reviewing the brand new LEGO Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse minifigures. Hey everyone, welcome back into Jar's Toy Emporium. My name is Jacob, and I am super excited to get into probably my most anticipated minifigure lineup ever, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now this series has been highly anticipated, and it comes with a great selection of figures with 12 to collect. Now before we get into the minifigures themselves, I did want to talk about the box a little bit because there is some great detail on it. First things first, you can see the New York City skyline in the background, which I think is awesome. And obviously it's headlined by some of the major Spider-Verse characters, such as Miles, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Punk, and my personal favorite, Spider-Man 2099. Now the back of the box doesn't show much, just some distribution facts, and it also shows that 12 to collect up in the top, but other than that, a pretty basic box overall. I do want to mention that you do have the possibility to scan these on the bottom to see which figure is in here based on this QR code, which I did do for this review. Now, the first figure we are going to start with here is Miles Morales, but before we get into building the figure itself, I did want to highlight this little display plaque that he comes with. This is in the cool orange color that we see throughout the movie, and it is transparent, which I think is a really nice addition to this figure. Now that we have Miles built here, I wanted to show off some of the detail on the figures itself. As you can see, we do have some arm printing on here showing off the electricity that he has, and we actually have printed legs, which I think looks really, really good. This one does come with two head pieces, so we have the mask, and we have this normal Miles Morales head, and this more serious look Miles whenever it's time to get into business. The accessory that comes with Miles is actually a little spider. Maybe this is Spider 42, which is the spider that bit Miles, which I think is a nice addition. And lastly, we have the mask on here. As you guys can see, we continue that theme of the electricity throughout the eyes, which I think is a really great touch to fit the rest of the suit. Now, those accessories are not all that comes in the box, because we do get our little checklist here that shows all the characters that you can get along with all their accessories. I thought I would point that out for you guys. Now here we have Spider-Gwen, and I gotta say the hair sculpt on this minifigure is quite impressive. I think they did a really good job with it. You can see she has her shaved side of her head there, but overall a very great minifigure. Now this one does have the dual molded legs as well, which look really good. We got some arm printing and not too much going on the back except the rest of her suit. Now just like Miles, she does come with two faces for her head. She has this nice smile, and we have this more aggressive face. Now I don't really like this one as much. I feel like they didn't do quite as good of a job. I don't really like it, but I think that might just come down to personal preference. Now, Gwen's accessory is this little picture of Miles and herself, which I think is a really nice nod to the movie, as this picture does come up quite a lot. Now, we do have Spider-Gwen here with her mask on, which I think looks really good, but it isn't my favorite part about this mask. Nope, I think the best part about this is the fact that they actually gave us the hood to put on her, which we see her always wearing when she's in her spider outfit, which I think looks phenomenal. Now here we are putting together Spider-Man 2099, and I wanted to point this out about the cape. Normally these come in those little cardboard-esque little flaps that you just unfold, but where this is more of a plastic style cape, it actually comes in this little translucent thing that you actually just pop right out of here. So I thought that was a nice little detail that they added for this one. Now here we have the figure I was most looking forward to in this set, which is Spider-Man 2099. The printing on this one is just incredible. You can see that printing on his legs. The arm printing looks so good. And I want to discuss that cape a little bit. So I showed you guys how it was a little translucent, but once you get it on, it just looks really, really good. And it actually came out of that little piece of plastic very easily. So nod to LEGO on that for not making it easily terrible. But just like the other minifigures, this one does come with two face molds with this little smirk here, and this mold here with him showing off the fangs, which I think is the better of the two face molds. Now we obviously have Spider-Man 2099 with his mask on here, which I think is one of the best looking spider masks of all time, and this LEGO set definitely doesn't disappoint. Now Spider-Man 2099's accessory is kind of hard to see, but it is the little hologram Layla that actually helps him throughout the movie, and they do give you two of these just in case you lose one, which probably would be pretty easy due to its size. Now, while we are putting the Prowler together, his cape actually does come in the styrofoam things that they used to come in, which is a little different from the Spider-Man 2099 one, so I thought I'd point that out as well. Now here we have the Prowler, and this figure looks incredible. Now obviously we have some arm printing, we have the dual molded legs, but just overall this is a fantastic figure, and I think they did a really good job of showing off the little cowl thing here. I think that just looks great. Like, they did a really good job making that work in LEGO form. Now, one thing I do want to point out is we do know that this is a Miles Morales from a different universe. I do really love and appreciate that they did give us a different head mold. So this is the Miles Morales head mold. You can see it is a smidge different from the other one. So at least they went the extra mile with this minifig and were able to do that for us. Now, one thing I will say they didn't do for this one is they didn't give us two head molds. So this is the only face that you get with the Prowler. Now, here's the Prowler with his mask on, and I will say it's not a separate piece like the other ones, as you do have to keep the original head mold on there for his mask to cover. So I do think that's an important detail and maybe why that we didn't get two different head molds, but I do still think this looks fantastic. Now the Prowler does come with a few different accessories. We do get this little vinyl record, which we see played at the end of the movie, and he also comes with these little gloves here as we see the Prowler throw on, which I will attach to the minifigure now. Now here's the Prowler once you've gotten those power gloves on, and they remind me a lot of the new The Thing minifigure that we got in the Fantastic Four Galactus set. I don't really know if I like these on the minifigure for displaying purposes, but I do appreciate that they did throw them in the set. I also want to mention, maybe it was just the set I got, these were actually very difficult to fit in his hands. As you guys can kind of see back there, they just kind of fit into a stud. I didn't really like that, and it was very hard for me to get them to stick on there. All right, next up we have Peter B. Parker, and this one has been kind of the talk of the town with how adorable that Mayday is that sits right on his chest. Overall, again, another very great mold. There is no arm printing on this one, but I don't believe there would be any as he's just wearing his robe. We do have the printed legs, and obviously that Mayday is awesome and a lot of detail for such a tiny minifigure. Now, Peter B does come with two face molds. He's got this one with the smirk and this one where he looks a little bit stressed out. Now, if for whatever reason you wanted to take Mayday out of the minifigure, you can, and you can see that he does have his spider suit on, which I think is a nice detail, just in case you did want to display without Mayday. But I do like having the Mayday in there, so I think I'm going to keep him just like this. Now, one thing to note about this minifigure is Mayday is the accessory, so this is all that you get from this one. Now next up we have Sun Spider, which is another amazingly detailed minifigure. You can see the arm printing, dual molded legs, and maybe one of my favorite accessories in the whole set is this backwards Spider-Man hat, which I think would be really cool to deck out people in a Lego city with. Now this one's accessories do come with these crutches. As you know, Sun Spider is disabled, so I think this is a very nice way to incorporate that into the set, and I really like how it turned out. Overall, another great minifigure. Now next up we do have Cyborg Spider-Woman, and I think this figure again has some amazing detail. Now some of the things I wanted to point out on this one is actually this awesome new design shoulder plate / face mask that we got. I think it looks so good. It is one piece, so it all sticks together. I think that does help with keeping it looking uniform. Next up we do have one of the coolest functions of this minifigure, which is her cannon arm. Look at how awesome that is. I think that would be cool to use in like a space scene potentially on some other minifigures, but overall, I really, really like this one. Now, while the accessories for Cyborg Spider-Woman are the cannon arm and the face mask, it does come with a couple of additional pieces, such as this little utility belt and extra pieces to build more of her cannon if you happen to lose it. Now next up we do have Werewolf Spider-Man, and I really like this figure. As you can see, there's lots of scratches and tears as if he's been in a fight with another animal version of a villain, but I think this one looks really great. Now this one doesn't come with any accessories, but it does come with a tail, and I think it's interesting that this headpiece is the way that it is. I love the design, I love the detail, but you actually can't turn the head at all, so that might be a little bit of a drawback to some people, but overall, I would take the detail and definition over being able to turn the head any day of the week. Now next up we have Spider-Punk, and this might be the best figure in the set. The detail is so good, and while I was talking very highly of the Gwen headpiece, I think this hair sculpt from Hobie Brown, aka Spider-Punk, might be even better. I mean, look at that head of hair. Now, Hobie does come with a couple of different face molds. He has this one with a smirk, and this kind of I don't want to be here look, which is very indicative of the character throughout the movie. Now, obviously, we have to show off Spider-Punk with his mask on, and look at how cool the spiked helmet is. Again, a really great job by LEGO. I'm super happy they included it, and it's its own separate piece, which I also think is a nice touch. Now, obviously, Spider-Punk has his awesome guitar. Again, the detail is really good, and I'm happy that this is the accessory they went with. Now, next up, we have Spider-Man India, and again, another great hair sculpt. I think that might be one of the highlights of this set, is how well they did for all of the hair on him. Dual molded legs, printed arms, a great looking suit, and he comes with some really cool accessories. Now, he also does come with a dual molded face with this smiling face here, and again, a more serious look. And obviously, we have to show him off with the Spider Mask, which is another great mask in the Spider-Verse universe. Now, Spider-Man India does come with Spider-Cat, which I absolutely love. I think this is a fantastic accessory. And these couple of little cups so he can enjoy his chai, not his chai tea. Now, I did want to put out while I'm putting Web Slinger together that his cape did come back inside of the normal generic little cardboard piece here. Now, here we have Web Slinger, which is, again, another fantastic minifigure. As you can see, his little bandana here looks really good with the spider there on the side, but overall, just a great minifigure. One complaint I do have is I wish his bandana on his face actually came up a little higher to cover up a little bit more of the mask, which would be a little bit more accurate. But overall, I can't complain because they at least include it in the set and it does look great. Now, the accessories that Webslinger does come with are his lasso here, which I think is a very nice addition. He does come with an extra bandana piece because it is very tiny and very easy to lose. And maybe the highlight of the set is Spider Horse, which again, like Spider Cat, looks incredible. Now, last but certainly not least, we have Spider Bite here. Again, a great figure, lots of cool details, some arm printing here, some super cool translucent legs, which I didn't realize they were translucent. Really like that addition, and another great hair piece. Now, this one again does come with two different face sculpts, with this one right here, and this one that looks a little bit more nervous. Now, she also does come with her mask, but similar to the Prowler, it does require the main head sculpt to put on, but it still looks really good, and I like the detail with the hair still sticking out of the back. Her one accessory is this little see-through tablet with some spiders on it. Again, very cool piece and fits the character perfectly. Now, here is one last look of all of the Spider-Man with their accessories, and again, these just look absolutely incredible. You guys can see all the amazing detail. I think LEGO just did an awesome job, and I'm super happy to have these in my collection. And then here they all are one last time without their masks on and their normal faces, which again, I think did a really great job with. Kudos to LEGO for giving us such an amazing set. Now that is going to do it for our review of the LEGO Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse minifigures. I absolutely love them. I think LEGO did an amazing job. Most of the figures have dual face molds, which is pretty common in the CMFs, but I'm happy they continued the trend. Great accessories, great molds, great printing on the arms and most of the legs. Just overall, I couldn't be happier with the selection of figures that we got. Now, there are a few figures that are missing. I kind of would have liked to see a Scarlet Spider. He seems to be going to be an important character moving forward in the Spider-Verse movies. We do see him come along with Miguel at the end of Across the Spider-Verse, but then Gwen gets him to fall back into a portal, so maybe we don't see him anymore. But he had a few lines in Across the Spider-Verse that some of the other characters that were included didn't have, so I'm a little surprised we didn't get him. I think a Spider-Woman, who definitely is a prevalent character, had lots of lines, was Gwen's mentor, is missing from this set. So there are a couple of figures that I would like to have seen them include, but I don't know which ones I would have wanted them to exclude to get those other two. So all in all, fantastic set. This gets a jar rating of a 10 out of 10. Like, I love these minifigures. This might be my favorite selection of minifigures we've ever gotten. It definitely is from like a Marvel character, sort of thing. I love them. I think they look fantastic. I'm very stoked that we got these, and I can't wait to hopefully get another set of CMS when Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out in the future in 2027. Now, this is my first time doing a LEGO review, so if you guys did enjoy it, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and go down in the comment section below and let me know how I did. If you think there are some things I should improve upon, maybe some stuff I didn't discuss that you would have liked to have seen discussed, let me know. I'm always trying to improve and create better videos for you guys. But if you stuck around this long, I do want to thank you again for spending the time with me to review these minifigures. They are awesome, and I would highly recommend you go out and pick them up. If you don't want to get all of them, remember you can use the app or the online web browser to scan that QR code and just get the ones you want, so you don't have to waste your money trying to get there. But thank you all so much for watching, and that is my review of the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse minifigures.